Howdy folks, Justin here. Welcome to From Loser to Legend Episode 8, where we take you from that guy up top, loser, not a legend, never played the game Legends before, wishes he knew how to play Elder Scrolls Legends, to that guy over there who is all sorts of legendary, plays Elder Scrolls Legends regularly, knows it's the best card game you can play. Um, Today we're going to ask, so you want to play Legends? We're going to take a look at the game from the very simplest, and I'm going to try to sell you on it because I think Elder Scrolls Legends is the best collectible card game you can play right now. Certainly the best digital card game that you can be playing, and I feel like it's time that we get the word out about this fantastic game. In its last days of open beta, I feel like we're really close to launch. And this is the perfect time to get in and start building up your collection. So we're going to be talking about what Elder Scrolls Legends is, why it's fantastic, in as concise a video as possible. So we're going to get rid of our intro screen here. And yeah, what is Elder Scrolls Legends? This is the Elder Scrolls Legends main menu screen. Elder Scrolls Legends is a collectible card game made by Direwolf Digital, along with Bethesda, who makes Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, Elder Scrolls Online, tons of fantastic games you've enjoyed before, Fallout 4, and it is simultaneously very easy to get into, very simple to start playing, and also a game full of a ton of strategic depth. But at its basic, it is a deck building card game where you collect cards to build a deck. Your decks have 50 cards, and there are a lot of different things you can do in this game as far as what cards you want to put in it. Every kind of playstyle is available to somebody who's interested in this. And the game has ways you can be successful, whether you're a rookie to collectible card games and you're just interested in the Elder Scrolls, or you've wanted to get in on the ground floor, something like this for a while, or if you've been playing Magic or Hearthstone or Duelist, any of those games for years. There's something in Elder Scrolls Legends and a level of complexity available that appeals to those players as well. I mean, that's where I was coming from. I'd played all these games before, and in Elder Scrolls Legends, I found a game that offers me so much diversity of opportunity that I just haven't been able to stop since I started playing back in closed beta in June. And yeah, so your deck consists of 50 cards, and you get to choose from any of the 5 colors available. Two colors to put into your decks. And what are these 5 colors, right? Well, there's red. Red is strength. Red offers you creatures and spells that are focused on attacking your opponents. It's the most aggressive color. It rewards you for attacking your opponent. It removes opposing creatures that might be trying to stop you from attacking. It's full of orcs, full of elves, full of reptiles, Nords if you're familiar with Skyrim, and it's the color of flexing those guns and punishing your opponent for playing a slower game. Red is a very approachable color for people who are new to these sorts of games. It's full of creatures that can attack right away. Just a very fun color. It's got dragons. It's got minotaurs. Very, very safe place to start for somebody just getting into the game who hasn't played before. If On the flip side of this, you've got blue, the next of the 5 colors, intelligence, right? Blue is the color of lightning bolts, of zapping your opponent's creatures and removing them, of tricky plays, creatures without attack value that have special abilities that make them relevant in ways that are not immediately apparent. It is the color of deception, the color of careful planning and being rewarded for long thought out plans. It has a lot of elves again, but it also has spirits. It's got dark elves. It's got a lot of equipment, items you can put on your creatures to make them stronger. It draws cards. It's got wards, which keeps the creatures safe. And it's got great late game potential. It has some of the biggest creatures in the game, including named characters from the Elder Scrolls franchise like Devaeth Fear and Nakreen the Dragon Priest. All in all, it is a really fun, really cool color that you can play that has some really obvious synergies, some really linear things you can do, as well as some trickier things for players who are getting a little more familiar with how to play the game. Kind of in between the two is Willpower, yellow. Willpower is a color that could be summed up by saying that there is a lot of strength in numbers. You play a lot of small creatures, amass an army through cards that create multiple creatures on the board, or small creatures that escalate out of control quickly when left to their own devices. It's also the color of life gain, of healing. Lots of cards that gain health. Lots of cards that buff each other up, give bonuses to the more creatures you summon. And it's also the color of wolves for those of you into wolves. But it's also worth pointing out that like blue, um, yellow willpower has an incredible late game suite of cards. It's got some direct removal for people familiar with Magic the Gathering. Say, this is the kinds of cards you see in black. Just destroy target creature. Those exist in yellow and willpower. It's also got a huge suite of late game creatures. Lots of, from Daedras to Imperials to Tigers to Manticoras to Marak the Dragonborn, who you may remember from Skyrim. There is Agility, which has got some aspects of blue and some aspects of red and some aspects of green, of yellow. I'm sorry, in it. Agility is the color of nimbleness, of cunning to an extent, and of moving your creatures around to gain small advantages that add up over time. It's got card draw. It's got the ability to destroy opposing creatures. It's got lizards. It's got bats. It's got cat people, and it is home to the goblins. It has all of the goblins as well. Um, Green is a very flexible color. It's one of the most popular colors in the game right now, and you can do all sorts of fantastic stuff with this. You can cast spells and combine it with blue to be an aggressive lightning bolt casting type deck. You can combine it with other colors to be more controlling. Very flexible support color that is currently very popular. And finally, the last color you have Endurance, purple. In Endurance, you have access to the undead, skeletons, zombies, Draugr. You also have orcs again. They make another appearance here, and you have some more lizard people, who I'm personally a huge fan of. Um, Purple is a color of control, of going for the late game and being rewarded for making it all the way there. You can ramp up. You can gain extra magic that you can use to fuel bigger spells faster than your opponent would be able to play them. You can turn your opponent's creatures into mummies. You can destroy them with lethal creatures that damage anything they touch. And again, there's lizard people, which is kind of hard to argue with, right? You've got the most incredible suite of late game cards available, from Bone Colossus to vampires to trolls to dragons to giants to enormous Iron Atronachs and Blood Magic Lords. If you choose to play a two-color deck, you are also rewarded by a couple cards that fit into each two-color strategy that further specialize what those colors can do. Uh, Elder Scrolls Legends is unique amongst most digital card games because you have the ability to play against people or the AI at any time. You want to play an individual game with a deck that you've already constructed or that you're working on, you hop into practice mode and you select the level of difficulty you want, and based on the level of difficulty, if you win, and it gets pretty hard, if you win, you get rewarded with soul shards, which are then used to craft additional cards. So if you're just not in the mood to face off against other players, and you want a simple game, you hop into an easy game against the AI, and you start collecting soul shards so you can build up even more cards. If you really want to test yourself and see how well your deck can do against a really stacked deck from the opposing AI, you hop into expert mode and you play against them there. Also, if you're again not interested in playing against people, but you like the ability to draft a deck and play a new deck every time, you can hop into Solo Arena, where for 150 gold, which is the in-game currency that you're rewarded with very generously. I'll go into that in just a second. For 150 gold, you can play against 9 opposing AI decks. You choose the order in which you play them, and every time you win, you add new cards to the deck you're playing. And at the end, again, you're very generously rewarded. The more wins you get, the better the reward. But it's a really cool opportunity. And if you consider that 150 gold is, according to them, $1.99 in value, you're going to be collecting 150 gold very quickly, very easily. And earning that money much more quickly than you would in any other online card game. In fact, the reward system in Elder Scrolls Legends is one of its most appealing features, especially for somebody who isn't looking to spend any money at all, or maybe just a little money on a game. Elder Scrolls Legends features multiple ways to get cards. To start with, the first time you start playing Elder Scrolls Legends, you start in story mode, which is a whole sequence of games against an increasingly difficult AI that will teach you how to play the game from Act 1, which I accidentally just triggered, all the way. I'm sorry, I guess I triggered the cutscene, which we don't want to watch. All the way to Act 20, where you will find yourself facing all. I mean, this is a good look. Take a look at it. It's got animation. It's got a full story. It's really exciting. And as you continue to play through it, you're going to be rewarded with entire decks full of cards. So that by the time you leave story mode, you've got 4 decks jam-packed full of cards that are yours to keep. You own those decks. In addition, story mode will give you opportunities to choose rewards between different cards depending on what you want to put in your future decks. And it will reward you with free arena runs and gold, which you can use to enter the arena again or buy packs of cards. In addition to this, there's a level system in Elder Scrolls Legends. So every so many wins, you're going to gain experience, and you gain experience playing in arena, playing against people, or playing against practice mode, and playing in story mode. Every time you level up, you're going to get free cards and gold. Every 10 levels, you're going to get cards that are more powerful than usual. And when you hit a couple levels, you're going to get legendary cards, the rarest cards in the game, including a couple which are played in Tier 1 decks to this day. Finally, depending on how well you rank every season, playing against other people, you'll increase in rank from starting at rank 12 all the way up to the legend rank. For hitting rank 9, 5, and 1, you get additional copies of a new card added to the game every month. Every month there's a brand new reward card, and just for playing on the ladder and reaching a certain rank, you get free copies of it. It's an epic card, which is the second highest rarity. These are powerful, game-changing cards a lot of the time. And just for playing, just for continuing to be part of the community, you're going to get rewarded with these cards. Um, Finally, there's Versus Arena, which offers the best rewards. Again, you draft a deck, you get 30 times, you're given a choice between 3 different cards, you build the best deck you can out of them, and then you play against real people who have done the same thing. You have up to 7 wins. You get 7 wins, you get all your gold back, and you get up to 3 packs of cards. You get legendary cards, you get gold, you get soul shards to craft new cards of your choice. It's just incredibly, incredibly generous as far as rewards go. And if playing against the AI again is your thing, but you like the style of gameplay that collectible card games offer, there are rumors around right now that there are future story modes going to be added in the near future, at least the future. We know that it's in the future to continue to draw upon the incredible Elder Scrolls canon, which is, if you've played any of these games before, very deep and full of exciting opportunities. Um, I would go ahead. I would recommend Elder Scrolls Legends to anybody who's interested in the Elder Scrolls, anybody who's interested in collectible card games, whether you've played one before or not. Because when you're trying to get into a game like Hearthstone, or you're trying to get into other collectible card games, like Magic especially, there's a huge barrier financially. With Elder Scrolls Legends, I mean, you have a couple things going for you, right? We're still in open beta, right? This is the prime time to get in and start building a collection. And secondly, especially compared to those other 2 games, the number of rewards that are thrown at you make being a competitive Elder Scrolls Legends player on a $0 budget completely doable. We have multiple people hitting Legend every season. That's the highest rank you can get when playing against other players. Multiple people hitting Legend every season who haven't spent a dime on this game. And there are so many cards and so many diverse opportunities to combine them into different color combinations and different strategies that there are still a lot of undiscovered decks that haven't been played yet, that haven't been tried yet. So this is a great time if you want to, test your knowledge of pattern recognition and of game theory. The perfect opportunity to jump right on in and try something new. The cards look great, the game feels great, the interfaces are all wonderful. Direwolf Digital is super responsive. They make regular balance changes when something isn't working right, and on the versus ladder when you're playing against other people and things are unbalanced. Some deck is winning way too often. They take a serious look at it, and they don't just slam down a ban and they don't hammer something so it's unplayable. They make nuanced, subtle, intelligent decisions about how this card could be playable, but not broken, not unfair and unfun. There are other mechanics in the game that make this unique as well. There are a lot of collectible card games where aggro is a huge problem, where it's always just these small creatures, or you're playing for tempo, and if you don't have the right removal in the early game, or you're not playing an aggro deck yourself, you just lose. In Elder Scrolls Legends, there are a couple systems in place that help give all type styles of play the opportunity to succeed. Like some other games, you start at 30 life. Your opponent's goal is to reduce you to 0 life. Every time you lose 5 life, you get a rune broken. You have 5 runes when the game starts. When a rune breaks, you draw a card. And sometimes, depending on what card that is, if it has prophecy, an ability that's on a number of different cards, you can play it for free during your opponent's turn, offering the opportunity for exciting interaction with your opponent's board and minions, creating a tension between the desire to go face quickly, attack your opponent quickly, and to hold back, to hedge your bets against breaking a rune and losing the board position, and to give an advantage in the form of cards and tempo sometimes to a deck that's running a little more slowly, a little more control. That's not to say that aggro is not good. One of the tier 1 decks right now is very aggressive. But there are also decks at the top of the ladder in the most competitive parts of the game that are very controlling as well. The game is exceptionally well balanced, and part of the balance comes from this really unique system that they've got in place, the Rune Prophecy system. Anybody who's interested in playing Elder Scrolls Legends, I would definitely invite you to leave a comment in the comment section of this video. Either myself or somebody who follows the channel who is already a fan of the game would love to help you get into how this game works, where you can download it, where you can find it. And yeah, feel free to check out the rest of the videos in this series if you're just getting started, the Loser to Legends series. This probably should have been the first video, but it wasn't until recently that I realized that the game needed a little bit of a sales pitch like this because, advertising hasn't really started yet because it's still in beta, but this is I just feel like this is such a perfect time to get into it that I would be doing a disservice to the game and its community if I didn't try to get more people playing today. And the game has a huge community. It's got a great Reddit community. It's got a Discord channel that people have been using. It's got a couple great websites out there. It's even got a professional team put together already called Between the Lanes, who's been doing some great work that are names you might recognize from Hearthstone. The people who have designed this game are people like Luis Scott Vargas, one of the most well-known and successful Magic players of all time. I mean, there's such a high pedigree of people putting together this product that I'm not surprised in the least that it is as fun and as well designed as it is. So yeah, and finally, if you're just coming into this video because you're a regular follower of the channel and you are just looking for Elder Scrolls Legends content in general, share this video with your friends. Post this video somewhere where you think somebody might see it and be persuaded to play, because it's a beautiful game, it's a fun game, and it's the kind of game that everybody who's ever picked it up, who is familiar with the Elder Scrolls, with collectible card games, or just with computer gaming in general, has enjoyed. Thank you very much for your time. I hope to see you on the ladder. Have a good one.